What's up, YouTube? Jason here with Jason Bytes Back, episode number 71. If you guys are not familiar with this series, this is a series of which I go back over the last month, respond to questions, and/or occasionally answer a question. So sit back, make sure your speed is changed to 1.5 times so this is tolerable, and let's jump right into it.
I want to start today's episode off with a shout out to Bailey, who is a long-term member, Patreon supporter, the YouTube subscriber of mine. Her house burned down and I'm fairly certain that I didn't have anything to do with it. I'm just saying there's a series of videos that were going on my channel and then her house burned down very soon after. So, evidence is not clear whether it's my fault or not. I'm just going to assume my innocence, but I will say that there was an issue with insurance and she did start a GoFundMe page in order to try to help her get back up on her feet. Also, I think some hard drives in her server are being possibly reusable, so there's always a little bonus there. I've already donated, but if anyone else wants to throw maybe $5 to help support a longtime B&B community member, I will throw the links in the description down below. Also, if you want to become a part of the B&B community, well, don't. We're very vile, but we do have a Discord server and you can be a member on YouTube, and probably, hopefully in April, I'm going to start making a dedicated video again, just because I'm starting to feel better about the idea. On my last and somewhat less serious note, I do want to give a shout out to Steve. As you guys know, Rip Steve's junk was a kind of a thing. He got into an accident. He has been in very high spirits about it, and everybody on the B&B Discord has been in full support of Steve's junk. His surgeries have went very well, and he's currently in California touring through some transitional clinics in order to do interviews for transplants. Now, these interviews can be hard and sometimes difficult for Steve to make it through. So, Steve, just let you know, everyone on the B&B Discord is behind you, 100%. I was about to end this, so I'm going to interlude this. This no transition is going to suck. So Sunday, tomorrow, this is Saturday, I am doing an Unraid thing hosted by Space Invader 1. It's going to be on his Space Invader channel. I don't know when it'll go up, but I'm going to be doing that recording tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Time. And if you guys have any questions, I'll link to the Unraid forum post in the section down below. Like you don't have very much time in order to hit that up. That's going to happen tomorrow. So if you have any questions for me or just Unraid or in general or space, whatever you have, just post that down below. Very short time frame to get that knocked out. So check out that link as well. I'm going to be recording that. Who knows how that's going to go? It's not live, so I know it can't catch on fire. So, hey, thank you, Unraid, for getting all that set up and doing the podcast, and Ed from Space Invader Run. It'll be something new for me, and I'm excited to try that out.
All right, so with all of that out of the way, let's step into the very first comment, which is from Mumad Bios. He says, damn, close call. ChatGPT is a BS artist. Yes, that is actually one of the worst parts about ChatGPT is the competence behind every answer. It's not like, hey, I think this could be this. It's like, no, this is it. And you're like, no, that's not it. Well, no, that's not it. This is it. It is absolutely great to have confidence behind the statements. That makes you feel really good about it. And I still believe ChatGPT is a very powerful tool. It's just one of those tools that if it gets something wrong, things can happen. My last video, I ended up deleting a bunch of data. Thankfully, I had backups. But still, it was the confidence behind ChatGPT's responses on anything, whether it's programming or checking historical facts, that it just stands behind it. Like, this is absolutely it. Do not argue. Oh, it's not it. Okay. No, this is it. How could you possibly believe what I told you the first time? I've been using it with Unraid to get commands via SSH, and it would, like, whole confidence give me a command and say, this is how you do a thing. And then I type it in and I say, hey, that didn't work. And it's like, well, no, that's not supported on Unraid. This is how you have to do it on Unraid. It's like, no, I started this off with, I'm working with Unraid. So it has a lot of growth. It's not always right, but it has still been very helpful. Next question is from Finn, aka Lordy, also a long-term supporter of the B&B community. He says or asked, so will the next video be a rant on updates? I'm trying to want one now. Yeah, he just knows that I'm an anti-update guy, right? I hate updating things because it usually breaks stuff. I turn off automatic updates because they just backfire. In fact, most times I've had to reinstall Windows from like a snapshot, or I've had to fix something drastic in Unraid. It's because of an automatic update. So I just don't do it. I've turned off the plugin automatic updates. I've turned off the OS automatic updates. even network automatic updates, even Blue Iris automatic updates. I try to stay on top of it and look into the release notes and at least Google the version on things that are mission critical, but I hate updates that automatically go through. My phone, you know what? My iPhone, I don't know if you can see this, but my iPhone right now, let's see if I can just get that right there. See, my iPhone holds still 93 updates. 93. You know what did this for me? Facebook. Facebook did this to me. There was this transitional period between Facebook wanting to go to Facebook Messenger, and I did not want to download another app, and I still hate Facebook for making me do this, but I didn't want to update Facebook because I didn't want to lose the messaging capability, and I didn't want to be forced to download a whole new app just to be able to message people via Facebook Messenger. I held out for months until finally they disabled the feature in the old app and said, no, you just can't use the old app anymore. I hate when they remove features. That's bottom line, and updates just sometimes suck because they force you into crap, and screw you, Lordy. Next question is from Eshin1. Which SAS card did you get? Actually, I got a SAS expander. I'm pretty sure I put it in the server, so I'm not going to go rip it out of there. I'm doing like a whole setup testing bench thing with Proxmox and Home Assistant. I got on Twitter and Wendell from Level 1. He said that get this card. It was like a $450 card. And I'm in the budget phase right now where I'm not going to spend the $450 on a card to hook up empty hard drive slots because I don't have the hard drives to put in there right now. So right now that investment area is not an avenue that I'm super worried about speed. So I got a SAS expander, already have a SAS card that if I use this $50 eBay SAS expander, I will be able to technically be able to hook up all of the drives in that server once I get everything put together. I will have a row of 4 hard drives that are just like full speed, and the other rows of 4 hard drives will be like part speed. So once I have more drives to put in there, then I can worry about upgrading my SAS card. But I did find one that has a 6-channel. It's like a 24i LSI. So it's an LSI 24i. So that's the card that I want, but I'm just going to wait on that. So that's your answer. Next question is from Robert Cortez. He says, what CPU cooler do you recommend pairing with the 13900K? Use case 24/7 Unraid operation, Plex transcoding, and the occasional handbrake conversion, which will likely be the only thing pushing the 13900K to its limits. Okay, I upgraded 13900K to my daily driver, and it still has issues, even with my daily driver having a full-on custom water-cooled loop with 2 massive radiators and a crap ton of fans. But the biggest upgrade I went from, because when I originally did the upgrade, the biggest upgrade from my temperatures was doing the 12th gen flattener plate, the thing that flattens the CPU to have better contact with the cooler. But I still have a hot spot, and I'm not sure if that is the thermal paste issue, which I doubt it because I spread it pretty well, or if there's just like the old 7400 series where I have to lap the CPU, which I really do not want to lap the CPU, but I think that's going to be my next step. Either of that, and I've heavily considered this, because it's only one performance core that is having issues, one performance core that's going to like 95 to 100, which is the TJ Maddox, while the other ones are like in the 81s. I'm thinking about going in there and just manually tweaking that one core to be undervolted, underclocked. That way it does not build up heat as fast. If I do that, and it allows the rest of the CPU to not be throttled as much, because I've been running tests and are definitely noticing throttles on the other CPUs because of that main core, then I think that will solve my problem with the least amount of physical effort possible. So my answer is this: get at least a 360 millimeter rad all-in-one cooler for it, and get the flattener plate for the 12th gen. Though, if my personal opinion would be your absolute bare minimum to cool the 13900K. If you want to go a step above that, you're probably going to do really well with lapping the CPU. I want to get into delidding or anything like that. I've been down that route. That kind of sucks, but I am definitely considering lapping the CPU, and the flattener plate is an absolute must-have. Next question is from Frank Kelly. He says, you have 3D printers. You could always design and print things to either fill in the gaps on the back or print complete replacements for the power supply shroud and the I/O shield area. Overall, it is looking pretty sweet. Frank, thank you. Yeah, my only response to this question is, I have a whole 3D printing area, some of which have really good 3D printers there that broke for one reason or another, and I've been saying it for so long as I want to get back into 3D printing. but because they all are broke for various reasons and I haven't taken the time to tear them apart, even though I really want to, I just haven't done it. So it's on my list of things to do. I'm really hoping to just get back and do it this summer. But I have other priorities and things that I really want to do. Specifically, the background. I've been wanting to redo my background because if you guys haven't noticed, I've been doing a logo change, something a little bit more of a simple logo. So I need to replace that, which is physically cutting wood and putting it on the wall back there and then doing LED lights, things like that. So I want to change my entire background. I just haven't gotten to that point yet because I don't know what kind of a design I want. When it comes to physical designing of spaces, I am the worst. I mean, I'm the worst at like a lot of things, but that's just another like worst thing. So anyways, it's on my list of things to do, but I've been sketching out different background job ideas. I just can't find something that I want to full send into, you know what I mean? So that's probably going to take precedence. I would say that once I get either the ball rolling on that or finished, then I'm definitely going to get back in the 3D printing because I really missed 3D printing. Next question is from Duras Z Segura. He said, Home Assistant dashboard looks great. What theme is that you are using? It's a great question. I'm actually using the transparent blue theme, slightly modified, definitely tweaked. Home Assistant is a freaking rabbit hole of a sinking of time. It's one of those things that 99% of my channel, it's like, hey, what interests me in the moment? And am I going to just absolutely crack out over it and do everything until I'm exhausted and then hate it and then never do it again? Home Assistant was like that. I threw a bunch of time into it, modified a bunch of things, and then realized that other things in my life were being delayed because I was super worried about Home Assistant. So I've legitimately just like shut all of the tweaking down. I've been doing some long-term tests, which I've learned a lot about Home Assistant and some of the tweaks or the nuances of bigly running, refreshing modules, difference between LAN and internet reliance, integration, stuff like that. Like all the little nuances that you only pick up when you've used it daily and you've relied on certain things. Like, for example, my Ranchio irrigation system. I integrated that in Home Assistant and I turned on one of the things and it didn't work. So I turned it off and then I went into my app on my phone and I turned it on and it came on. So like, okay, that doesn't work. Come to find out, it actually activated a broken zone meant to water my flowers that I just yet to fix. I didn't really need them, so I haven't fixed it. It activated it for 3 or 4 hours and it flooded out half of my house. And that's actually a whole different story. So Home Assistant is not supposed to even know that zone exists, but for some reason it turned it on 4 hours, full blast, and it's broke and it's underground. So I uninstalled that module because why the heck do I even want to mess with that? What I can guarantee you is not the time frame, but the content. I definitely appreciate Home Assistant now for what it is, and I have some really fantastic ideas that I want to mess around with that are just stupid, and I think it's going to be great to put on this channel. So that content is absolutely coming. I just need to get to a point of which I can do it. I'm waiting for a few things to go down, and then I can get back into the backup power stuff that I was messing with. So after that stuff is worked out, then I can get back into that. You know, it's like a list of crap to do. Like someone sent me a foot massager and a battery-powered DAC cam, and I'm like, hey, if I can make a dumb video about that sarcastically, like as a parody, then, you know, maybe I will, but no promises. That never happened. Next question. On the 5 things to consider before you build a Plex server, size me on bolos. He says, size me on bolos. Can a used enterprise server be enough for Plex server on Unraid? Abso-freaking-lutely, yes. That is the best way to get into the whole home lab experience running Unraid, because Unraid is just so easy to transition over to a new system. Enterprise, old enterprise gear, if you really keep your eye out, you can usually get some pretty good deals. eBay is a great way, but if you live in a larger city, there are companies that do this, that they will sell to you directly, that you might be able to physically drive to and get great deals on. I absolutely believe in old enterprise server gear in order to get that home lab stuff running. And some of that old enterprise gear has significant advantages over the dumb stuff that I do, like, you know, taking consumer grade hardware, mixing it in with enterprise chassis and trying to make things work and messing with airflow and, you know, how loud it is, stuff like that. So absolutely. that is almost a must-have to just at least bare minimum worry about the old enterprise gear and try to roll into something like that. So I definitely recommend it. Wrigglestat, he said, the intro is how you lose subscribers. 3990X old AF. You're either trolling, which is obnoxious, or ignorant, which is unacceptable. What? First of all, that name is dumb. Second of all, the 3990X Threadripper processor is old AF, okay? It's literally 3 years old. That's 21 years in dog tech years. That thing barely runs. I'm pretty sure it was around when MS-DOS was invented, so don't come at me like you don't know your CPUs. The fact that I was able to get it booted up and be able to port Proxmox over to such retro technology should be amazing to you, and you should be blown away and just amazed by what I was able to accomplish. So take your negativity out of my comments and just have a nice day. Like and subscribe below. Next question. Jamie Stuff, he says, as an electrical engineer, I power hinge whenever I see Jason working with anything above 24 volt. Electrical pails are no place for jank, and there's a lot of it here. First of all, Jamie, define the jank. Like a lot of people comment, if you're an electrical engineer, I would love to hear from you. Like very personally, how to percent legit, please comment. Tell me some of the things that I've done that you consider jank that maybe I could change. See, what I don't like about videos like this is people say, that sucks, that's the worst thing, you did this wrong, everything is terrible, code this, code that, but nobody gives me very specific examples. So, hey, I'm in Kansas, I'm in the United States of America, point out some of the things that I'm doing, so while I'm doing this project, maybe I have the opportunity to go back through and make things a little bit better. So, Jamie, I appreciate constructive criticism. You're probably right, but I am asking you for very specific things that I could try to do before this project is done, and it's too late for me to go back and fix it. So, thank you, but more information is needed. Instructions in clear. Dig stuck in server. This is on Jason Bytes Back, episode number 60L90 on the new Quadro Too Good, etc. Hey, I wanted to start a new security system. Would you still recommend Blue Iris? I currently use Plex on my Unraid server. I could do something similar to your old setup. Thank you, brother. Absolutely. I've been using Blue Iris for so long. I like it. I'm comfortable with it. I have 3 or 4 plus years of this kind of, but I have so many years of old video clips that I could use the Blue Iris system UI itself to go back, rewind in time, and watch those old video files with absolutely no reason to do so. So I believe in Blue Iris. It's still the best system I've used, and I absolutely recommend it. But it can be a kind of a rabbit hole, and you will take a little bit of tweaks to kind of get up to running to maybe what you're expecting from it. But I definitely recommend it. Next question is not scrolling. Next question. There you go. 100 terabyte risk on a ButterFS RAID 6 in Unraid. William D. Nuka said ZFS. Oh, it's coming. Not Steve, but ZFS, it's coming. It's like RC12 or Unraid 6.12. I think whatever the latest version is, ZFS is coming. It's going to be interesting. I'm personally hesitant for 2 reasons. One, new features like that, I do want to make sure some kinks were worked out before I really jump into it. And 2, I've basically ran out of hard drives to play around with in order to be able to build different arrays and stuff like that. So, I have to get just like an array of, 8 or 10 or whatever, 12 drives, so I can start plugging things in. Unraid, if you guys don't know, I have a referral code with Unraid that gives absolutely 0 motivation or discount for people to use the code, but I do get a referral code through Unraid and to get the Unraid operating system. So I'll link that in the description down below, but there's literally no reason to use it aside from, hey, Jason, thanks for existing. I'm going to buy this anyway, so you might as well get a referral for it. But adding ZFS to this for multiple reasons, especially like the way I think this is always, so ZFS is able to compare certain, or it can verify the integrity of every block, which helps you with data log. And I think overall it's going to be a great improvement to Unraid once all of the, whatever issues that come up, once all of that is worked out and it's just streamlined and 100% reliable, I'm really probably going to jump into that. I'm just going to be using a test server that Unraid gave me a key to. That way I don't have to worry about 30-day expiration on test installations. And I want to play with that before I try to put that into my main server right now. I'm still looking forward to multiple arrays. like actual Unraid arrays? And that is actually the last question. So guys, if you have any questions, comments, complaints, or just want to throw random hate at me, make sure to leave it in the comments section down below. Rip Steve's joke. Good luck on your interviews. I know they're difficult, but I'm thinking you can make it through it. You do have a lot of experience. So, hopefully just stay strong and see things to the end. And a huge shout out to all of my YouTube members, aka patrons, over here in the B&B basement of chaos. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. I'm going to try to list, if you'll allow me to do it again, I'm going to try to list all of that at the end of this video. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe and have yourself a fantastic day.
The thing about doing these like main upgrades that I have, hopefully this doesn't spill water. Is this going to spill water? No? Okay. So this is a AMD 5950. This is my old workstation motherboard that I had right here. I don't know what to do with this yet. I just ripped the 128 gigabytes of RAM in order to put it, because it's DDR4. I ripped that RAM out and put it into the Threadripper. I do have some 32 gigs, so I might install this as a secondary. Let's go just a Windows installation that I might use for transcoding. Maybe. I'm going to buy like an ATX case, something just very simple, and I'm going to use this as like a secondary computer for something like tomorrow's thing, for example, where I'm doing just like streaming or something like that. Because I like this board. It was really reliable. It just didn't do really well because it wasn't Intel and it didn't have the iGPU and the acceleration for all the other stuff like the previews and the render stuff like that. It just didn't do what I needed. The Intel 13900K has just made editing for me butter smooth compared to something like this, even with the exact same GPU. So I don't know what the Intel versus AMD. I really gave AMD a huge shot going from the 3900 to the 5950. I really tried to make AMD work, but at the end of the day, Intel, for my use case scenario, has just consistently been better in every way with the experience of the programs that I'm using. So I'm going to take off this water block. I'm going to probably put on some sort of an all-in-one or maybe an air cooler and underclock it a little bit, something like that. I don't really know yet, but I know this is probably going to be a secondary, very small computer that's going to have like capture cards and things like that. And it's essentially going to be something that I can drag in, and it can be like a New Year's live stream, streaming PC or something like that. That's very quiet. I'm not really sure. In fact, Noctua, someone tag Noctua, if you got a good cooler for the 5950 AMD processor, I would love to have something good for that. So that is going to be used somehow. I like recycling old stuff like this, but that's a very low priority, but that's going to be one of the things that I tackle. So just going to put that all right there. Hopefully you guys can stay tuned for the Home Assistant stuff. So I have so far done a ton of MeROS because I got super hard into MeROS applications. And when you integrate the MeROS IoT version versus the MeROS LAN version, MeROS started doing this thing where they ban too many requests to the MQTT servers. Then you start having issues. Things don't respond. Things just break overall. So I've kind of started transitioning to manually assigning the LAN equivalent of all of my sensors and switches and light bulbs and things like that. So that is just the rabbit hole that I put on pause that I'm going to have to go back and kind of tweak with later on down the line. But Home Assistant is a rabbit hole, and I have to make sure that I get through all of my previous obligations before I just take the time to get sucked back into the Home Assistant world to start really tweaking that again. Okay, that's it. Thank you, everyone. Happy April Fool's Day. Most of this was serious. Some of it was not. It's up to you to distinguish what was. But I can tell you that the Bailey thing is serious. So if you are considering throwing $4.69 at Bailey via that GoFundMe, I would really appreciate it because I want to support somebody in my community that has been here for a very long time and have proved to me and everyone else in the community that she's a very genuine person. And if anyone deserves just a little bit of help to get her back on track with her life, I think it's her. So thank you very much. If you can throw $5, that would be amazing.